You like Trump? Good girl. You like Biden? Come on, man. We cheated. Alright, good evening.
I'm not sure.
This amplifier here, I think, got some trouble with the power supplies in it. I'm pretty sure.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Turn the echo off, echo off, echo off. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Here's, I'll let you really hear that echo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. So, that is work.
Watching some Radio Garage over here. I've ordered some new switches for this thing. And put them in no matter what. But I just want to make sure. I've been thinking about it, and I said, well, I'll just take a few minutes and we'll test the switchers and see what they're doing individually. You can, while the amplifier is, the variable's turned down low, it works. There's nothing wrong with the amplifier part of it. At least I don't think so. He brought it in down here, and one of these wires here were loose, where this big wire goes in here, and then that little wire's over on the side of it. It's kind of, that thing's cocked in there. I don't know if you can see that, but that's sitting at an angle. And I tightened that down, and it came back and started working. But then the power supplies, like I could turn the variable wide open. I was thinking it was a variable to start with, change the variable out in it, and it was still doing it. But you could turn the variable wide open, and the power just it wants to go up, and then it just stays at a steady like 400 watts. And then you put a voltmeter over on the transformer back here and check it, and the voltage drops down to from like 15 volts down to 7. So I'm pretty sure it's running off just one of these, and one of these will not pull that. So to eliminate one or the other or whatever, we're going to so much for the same length wire, but whatever. We're going to see what these power supplies are doing separately. Alright, this first one, second one, first, second, third one right here. Let me get a a ground wire. I'm going to do somewhat of a load test on it. God knows. Hello?
Hello?
Hey?
I don't understand what you have bought because it's not letting me do anything.
Okay, I think I bought the downloads to it. I think I just bought the 2 or 3 downloads.
Because I can't print anything.
Right, you got to go to download and download it. And then you can print it. It saves it to a PDF file or whatever on there.
So go to download and then save it.
Yeah, download and save it. And name the file, because if you don't, you won't be able to find it.
Well, when I hit download, it says your brand kit includes your logo and 300 branded materials that update as you change your logo. And then it says get brand kit download, so you click on that and it wants you to buy something else.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know what you bought.
Well, I bought that. It says it on my PayPal.
I understand what it says on your PayPal, but I don't know what abilities you bought.
Yeah.
I don't think you bought anything. You just paid them to use their website. I can't down.
Okay, this is the back one. We're going to load test this one. Real accurate, right? Well, that can't be very good. Do they make anything any count anymore? You gotta have 15 pieces of equipment to do the test of one. Look at that meter. Fucking cheap junk. Well, it says putting out 25 at 14 volt. Well, that one seems to be decent. There's next one in line. So it's this one. The light ain't on. Maybe just a loose connection. I tightened these up the other day. Maybe the contactor's not making contact. I don't see how I can be making contact on one and not all. Unless it's 3 different unit contact points in there. Because it's using 3 of the 4 legs. And then if it's bad on one, I could switch it over to the one that's left. Alright. We're determining some power out of this one. Get this one up out of the way. No light. I know this was coming on the other day. No light, no power. No light, no power. Light and power. Well, that's the reason the light was on, because this is feeding power back to them other two. Well, yeah, this one lights that one up. Of course, this one lights that one up. All 3 of them's lit up. Well, got 2 not coming on. Let's see if we got AC voltage. AC voltage coming to it. I'm pretty sure it does. Because the light, well, that light could feedback. $120. $120. $120. He got at least 2 bad. He wants to replace all 3 of them. I'm sure I done bought them. We'll throw them in a, which they ain't came yet. That out here today. That one's going to have power. That one's working. This was not. That was not. No voltage. So 2 of them's knocked out. And don't put these on these switchers. These switchers, I mean, for what they are and what they cost, they really are pretty good. I mean, yeah, you might get a bad one every now and again. You might get a bad couple. But for the price, you can't beat it. If, you know, if they work. If it come to be a hassle, yeah, I can see. I mean, if you got the money, of course, I always go with a Megawatt or a better one. What's the other brand? Shit. They're really high. Go with them. And those little Power Maxes, leave them things alone. The little 100 amp jobs. Every one I've ever had was complete junk. Wonder why he didn't put a ground on that tab there. Kind of aggravated today. I've been had a bunch of calls from Listen to this, digger. He ain't gonna run no bullshit. That's why I didn't buy none of my shit. Well, I think we got a little problem now, see that? Big old black spot. See that, Tom? pow. And this thing's got solder floating around in it. So that one from the factory. They do solder baths. Then again, it could have. Anything could be possible. All kinds of little solder balls and I. Well, that's that one. Phone, answer phone. That right there probably worked. Again, just a few seconds. The thermistor is burnt. You can get them out of here, but the way these things are built, they're like a shock. The inrush current comes in and hits that thing, and if it's too much, it absorbs it like a cushion, like a sponge. It absorbs whatever's, especially when you turn it on with something like that contactor. That's the reason I use rocker switches, or these amp switches, because when you go up with them, you hit a little hard spot there, and the voltage kind of touches, and then you go up the rest of the way. Or when I turn them on, I'll hit that little spot, and I'll let off of it, and then hit it again. It'll energize it for a second, and then let off of it, so all the voltage don't go at one time. But that's just me. It's my way of thinking. My way of thinking don't mean for shit. That don't mean that's the way you need to do it. That's totally up to you. But I think this one's probably going to work now. This is a thermal switch here that if this coil gets hot, or if it puts more of a load out and gets this coil hot, of course it'll shut down. These nice power cords come with the megawatts. I saved a few of them to keep. I told you that's the reason I don't work on the AC boxes. Ellis just got shocked by that, but not paying attention. Yeah, see that one's on now. That I can put another one in a minute, and this one will be back working again. But I'm pretty sure I got 3 new ones on the way from Fat Boy. He ain't gonna want to throw just one in. But I guarantee you this one's putting out power now. Where's my meter? There it is. Yep, see. Put down voltage now. Of course you can see that. They ain't supposed to be on the back of it. It blew that out of it. And if you take the way those contactors hit that thing, I mean it hits it hard. It throws the power to it just in a blink of an eye. I mean at least throwing a switch, you got some mechanical, you know, some spring in there. So when it comes up, I mean, yeah, it hits all at one time too, kind of, but it kind of hits lightly. I don't know. That's my train of thought on it. Might be wrong. But, I mean, I know for damn sure when you hit the switch on that damn contactor, it's there. It's there. It's like putting a car up in neutral, put the gas to the damn floor, pull it down and drive. You try that on Chevrolet, but don't do that on a Ford or Dodge. I've seen some Hondas and stuff built, work good too, doing that. I got a friend of mine, I don't know how the hell that Honda ever stood that shit. He would do rollbacks, you know, put it up in reverse, go about 30, 45 mile an hour in reverse, pull it down and drive, and, you know, of course, spin, shit. 3,000, 4,000, I think revved out at like 3,200. He'd do, it would, and he'd pull it down again, take off. Just crazy. I mean, I've done it to Chevrolets back in the day when I was young, stupid. With the old turbo 350s and 400s, they pretty much handle it. I remember watching a video a while back, and they was talking about cars at the drag strip. Talking about, you know, foot brake class. Foot brakes where you put your foot on the brake, you give it some gas, and it all depends on what torque converter you got. It'd say if you got 3,000 stalled, it'll go up to about 3,200 or 2,800. Just all of them's not exactly, but you hold, you know, you rev it up to that, and then when you let off a brake, it goes. The stock converter won't stall that much. Between 13 to about 18. Most I've ever seen one do is about 18. And then they used to put Vega ones of in. That was a little hack for people that didn't have no money to buy stalls. They would take a Vega torque converter and put over in there, and it would have a little bit more stall because it was underneath a 4-cylinder. But they didn't last long. But they was talking about on there that Chevy factory guys that drove for Chevy, that would get up in Pontiac and Buick, would get up to the line, and it took them a little while to figure it out. They'd get up to the line, they'd stage, get the, you know, at the light. They would stage, and the car would rev up, wah! And then they would, well, they didn't know what they was doing, but they would take off, and the front end would come up off the ground. You know, of course, 427, big blocks, 396s, and all that stuff. Well, when the Dodge guys and Ford guys found it out, what they was doing, they went out there and tried them, and they said the Dodge and Fords was blowing up on the starting line like hand grenades. Transmissions was just blowing out. But the Chevrolets was still doing it. Just as tough as they could be. But, you know, just some observations that I've made throughout the years. And if you notice any motorsports, most times Chevrolet dominates it if they're in it. Most times they're the lead dominant ones, especially out of the American, supposedly American made cars. Well, there's the second one working. I think that one's going to be a little bit harder to fix. Guarantee that one tore the traces up on the bottom of it. That one looked like it had a pretty good detonation, but this one's back working again. I will replace that. We was cutting them out of them and doing them like that, but come to find out we need these. That component is kind of new to people. What is it, MPC? Straight on this one. I think it's the MPC. NTC. NTC. And then a political thing for it, I don't know. I've heard it said, and I can't re-say it, I don't know. Some words North Carolinians can't pronounce. Evidently crappy. We call evidently Northerners call it crappie, sunfish, bluegills. Down here we call them crappie. At least that's what I've always heard it pronounced. We're going crappie fishing. Sean finds it kind of funny that it's named that, but of course he probably finds the word blowfish a very exciting word. She ate that nut right there. Like that's the first one I've seen. But the new ones going in, I'll make sure I take them apart and go through the bottom of the circuit board and make sure all the, it looks like it's got a loose solder joint there. Make sure all the solder joints is decently good. Sometimes you'll see these coils loose. But I know those things put a jolt on them. It's got to. Alright, we're going to end this video here, clean up this damn table, which is a lot cleaner today than it was yesterday. But yesterday, by the time at the end of the day, I got through with about 4 different amps. that I took in months ago. And I hadn't even put the video of them up yet. So put these off in a bag. Reuse some of this hardware. But alright then. Y'all have a good day. Later. Alright, this digger, your amp's fixed. I ran some new wires on it. Some new hots, some new grounds. Put these power supplies in it. You had one that was working, but the other two was gone. And I done a video on that, I think yesterday. One of them was completely burned up. The other one had the NTC was burned out of it. Of course, you can cut them and push the wire back over and it'll get back to working. Took these all apart and put 103s in them. The way I do it's on the AC filter side, and then I take the ground and ground it across. It's on some videos I done a while back. A little different than other people do them, but everybody does things their way. So the ground on this is actually the ground through these are grounded to the chassis plus through here. So everything's grounded. Everything in it's grounded the way I do them. But it's up and working. Contactor come in, and when you brought this in here, I think was all was wrong with it at that point in time. You can feel this thing buzzing a little bit, but it's going to do that because that coil. But this wire here was loose. It wasn't cut. This contactor wasn't coming on, and I tightened that down. The automatic came on, but then we figured out that once you give it some power, key the mic, the voltage on it. I was checking the voltage, and the voltage would drop down to about 9 volts. But you could turn the variable down. Well, first off, I didn't start with the voltmeter. Should have, but I'd key it up with the variable all the way down, and of course it would put out about 400 watts, and then you could turn it up and it would fall flat on its face because it was pulling more current because the variable would be wide open. Self-explanatory. But and then I hooked the meter up to it, checked the voltage, and it just didn't have any voltage. And it was because a couple of the switchers had then went bad in it. But I put all 3 new ones in it. They just come in today from Fat Boy. Just got the box in. Just got them in today. I done a checklist on them. I do a video every time just to make sure. So if I have any problems, I could actually put out a video saying that I didn't get something. I don't want nobody saying that I got. Well, yeah, you got it. I unboxed it and everything right when I got it. 3 power supplies. I ordered a few other things that I needed, but with them, I ordered the power supplies. Set the voltage. All the voltage is set pretty much the same. Pretty damn accurate on the voltage. I try to get as close as I can possibly get them to each other. The wires came off of it was a little different in length, so I run all new wire. Tuned that was 1.5. I tuned that down to 1.0, and other than that, everything else is right. I just plugged these back up. I did have to solder them which didn't have to, but I did. Soldered them, soldered these to the power supplies. I just do that instead of putting a screw that could work loose. The AC side's different, but the DC side, I solder them wires in. That's just the way I do it. Well, there's your voltage, 15.7. And when I done that, I turned whichever, I checked all three of them. And I think this one, I think it was this one, highest the voltage would go up, or the lowest voltage one. I set all the rest of them to that. These other two went up a little higher, so I set this one to these other two to that one. If you understand the way that is, but all right, turn the switch on. Switch is on. Oh, hello. Get the 2500 watt slug. $2,500 watt slug. This meter, that's going to be peak right now. This one's reflect going back towards the radio, and so you want your reflect low. Audio, 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 audio. 1, half a watt. Like I said, it says a 2,500 watt slug, and this is peak. That's 1,000 reading top scale. Oh, hello. You getting them out? This is on antenna, so I've got a little bit of reflect back from the antenna, but it's not a lot. Hello. But that's that. RMS. Oh, hello. Right next to 500. Oh, which 1,000 watt slug. It's 1,000 now. It's a little tighter. Oh, hello. About 450 on there. But peak, it bears it. Oh, and a corner. And the voltage now pulls down to, see if you can see that, 15.7. It was pulling down to like 7 volts. Oh, hello. So not even losing a volt. With 90 amps there. These are 30 amp switches from Fat Boy. This is the ones Fat Boy gets done up for him. It says it on the paperwork right there. And second, but it was my order. There it is, all in black and white. So she's ready to go. That didn't take me a little bit to do it. I put Loctite on all the screws, put new screws underneath the bottom of it, which wasn't nothing wrong with them, but I couldn't find all of them. I cleaned the table off and couldn't find but like 4 of them, so I just put new ones in it. 8x32 screws, and then I put this strap on the top of it to keep them all solid. You can't get them out of now. And put a ground wire from here over to there, tighten up all those screws on that. One of them had worked loose a little bit, and my hand got over here in this fuse the other day and it knocked the hell out of me, which 110 ain't gonna hurt you too bad. But it's ready to go. Alright then. This is gonna be a short video. I got a little video previous to this, but it didn't really show a lot. Just showed me checking these power supplies out individually, trying to put a load test on them, and I got the other 3 over here, which only 2 of them's good. But I had to make the one that was here good, but this one, on the other one's burnt completely up. But these are all brand new in here, ready to go. Have a good day. Later.